Black, green and gold are the colours of the Reggae Boys, and there they are shining brightly on the field of the National Stadium. Chile, La Rojas, are of course in red, known as the red one. That's the translation for it, as you can see the shaking of hands now. How are you expecting them to line up, Alan?
The Chileans are going to give you what South American, Central American teams always give you. They're going to come with wingers that are pretty tricky, usually very fast. They're going to have someone in midfield, and in this case, Matias Fernandez, whom you mentioned earlier. He's a revelation at 21 years old. He plays with a lot of maturity, and his work rate is phenomenal. We have seen that with his the games we have noticed in Spain. Of course, not in this lineup is Munoz, another of their top players, whom we thought that perhaps would have been in the squad, but he's not. And nonetheless, I'm sure that we're going to have good work coming out of Julio Gutierrez, another of their experienced players. And it's going to be a full test for the Jamaican midfield that is going to come out with their 4-4-2 formation today. And we will see whether or not Donald Stewart, Fabian Davis, and Demar Phillips can stand up to the onslaught there. Of course, we have fairly good confidence in the twin towers of the Jamaica team, so to speak, in terms of Jerome Taylor and Christopher Harvey. They have been doing good work for us, especially in the Lunar Cup and in the last couple of games.
Of course, if we're going to look at the starting lineup now of the Chilean team, you can see there Ignacio Fuentes leading the line there, Luis Caballon, Roberto Gutierrez, the number 9, Antonio Fierro, Miroslav Peric, the number 12, Francisco Vargas, Luis Valdivia, Arturo Sanjuez, and Argiel Fernandez, Erasmo Vidal, and Gonzalo Lorla. Of course, the substitute bench consists of Andres Bravo, Andre Ormeño, Andres Contreras, Carlo Villanueva, Antonio Jimenez, Nelson Acosta, and Mauricio Zedinfino. And if we can just get a look up at the Jamaican lineup now, you can see Jorge Valdivia there in the sights, and Nicolas Peric involved in number 12. In short sleeves, he must be wary of the temperature. It is a bit warm out there this evening. You can see now the Jamaican lineup here. Ali, you could just take us through the Jamaican lineup?
Well, Jerome Taylor's been around for a little while. Maybe a good man. He's joined by Christopher Harvey. Mario Swiggy, who's mainly a midfielder, is at left foot today. And Demar Phillips, number 12, is a youngster that has really developed pretty well. Donald Stewart is in the central defense, and he, along with Fabian Davis, are the two most experienced players out there at the moment. Nikolai Finch, good midfielder. Newton Shelton is a wonderful striker, and we expect a lot from him today. Douglas Palmer, midfielder who has gone back to midfield. Richard McCallum, of course, is the preferred keeper tonight. And so that's the starting 11, and we expect that they're going to give a good account of themselves.
It will be Chile with the kickoff. You can see them just stretching it out on the line there. Seems as if it will be the number 8 to take the kick, and that's Carlos Villanueva. And they're about to get things started now. Our referee, the match official, the number 1, Jose Rene Guerrero Rivas. He's from Nicaragua. Assistant referee number 1 is Rowan Thorburn. He's Jamaican. And fellow countrymen Garnet Page and Dave Peterkin.
The referee for tonight, Jose Rene Guerrero, he officiated recently in Jamaica at the under-17 finals, and he did a pretty good job. So I think he was recalled for this game.
It will be interesting to see whether or not he'll be busy for this one. Haven't ever seen these two teams in a clash, so it'll be perhaps tentative stuff to start off with as they begin to feel each other's strategy out, and then perhaps we'll see a freer game. At the moment, it does look as if they'll be playing with two defenders a little bit deeper, and Jamaica, of course, in that customary phalanx. Kick-off now, being rolled back for Chile. We're underway. It's a smallish crowd here at the National Stadium, but I expect that to grow. And, of course, our audience in North America watching this on Fox Soccer Channel are in for a treat, as Jamaica are in full string now. Luton Shelton picking up the ball and playing it forward, just looking to pick it up and turn it back around now. Picking it up himself is Demar Phillips, and looking to turn that one into the box, collected cleanly. First touch for Nicholas Peric. That one, he rolls it out over to the far side now. Chile looking to make roads up that flank. Played upfield now, just quick step over. He's being watched carefully though by Donald Stewart. And played upfield now for Chile, just quick side step, And just looking to knock it around in the midfield at the moment. So Chile being allowed possession for the time being, Ali, and they're just working it down the flank for the moment.
Well, the style that they do have is to give everybody a feel of the ball. That the game has a long way to go. It has just started. They want to see what the Jamaican will do. Will the Jamaicans come at them? And they will seek to counter-attack or exploit any openings that come their way.
Sanhueza seems to be the pivot in midfield. We've seen him in possession of the ball, just knocking it around there. He's the number 17 for those of you who are looking out for him. That one just played out of touch there. It will be a throw-in to Chile, the first of the match.
One of the exciting things for me about this game is seeing the pairing of Ricardo Wiley Boo Fuller along with Luton Shelton. Two opposite type players in terms of Shelton is more direct, pretty fast, knows where the goal is. Wiley Boo is a creative player, fast as well, and also knows where the goal is. Will they get the service tonight? That's left to be seen.
At the moment, the service is coming from Chile, a bit over-served though. That's been played into an offside position. He was just looking down the line there and perhaps just went a little bit too early. Free kick taken quickly, and Jamaica looking to bring it up the middle of the park. Donald Stewart in possession, sprays it out to this near touchline. He's got good pace, but will he be able to keep it in? No. It's a bit slick out there as well. We had a little rain earlier on, and Ricardo Fuller was unable to keep his balance there.
Oh yes, certainly. You can see that the top soil is a little bit soft, and so you can't run into tackles too easily. You might get embarrassed.
At the moment, who do you think that would favour the conditions? It is a little bit warm out there, but as we've said, the pitch is a little slicker. It seems to be Chile that are enjoying the conditions the most at the moment. It's been played back there again to Sanhueza. He sends it over to his long-haired teammate, picks it up again, and plays it over to the near touchline. Ferrero will pick it up and return back inside. No real pressure on the ball at the moment. Just having said that, it's stolen away. And looking to play this one forward with Chris Harvey, has been put that one into space for Luton Shelton to chase, and he's got tremendous speed, we all know that. Just looking to cut it inside now, sends in across deep to the edge of the box, has time, shapes for the shot, now driven in towards goal, and that's the first opportunity of the match, and what a blistering shot it was, just going a little wide there, Ali.
It was a glorious opportunity, absolutely wonderful, and it was just wide of the post, taken by the number 22. And I can't believe that he missed that. It was set up lovely by Luton Shelton from the right-hand side, laid back by Fabian Davis, and the onrushing player just slotted it wide.
Unable to find the target there, but that's definitely a signal of intent from the Jamaicans, showing exactly what they are capable of in attack. Look very patient in that build-up as well, full of control. And they'll have to be patient here as well. Nervous times at the back at the moment as Chile are able to tackle up. Questions of a foul there, just strong physical play from the Jamaicans. That's something we're used to seeing, but perhaps not the Chileans. They picked up a free kick now though, just standing in front of the ball there. Donald Stewart is taken quickly and he returns to position. So Chile just controlling possession for the time being. Haven't been able to get in behind the Jamaican defence. They'll attempt to do so now. Unable to make that happen. And Jamaica looking to exploit those flanks. Just looking to knock it on there. Unable to get on the end of it, DeMar Phillips, but he is a lively character, DeMar Phillips. We saw him earlier, and he does look like a live wire.
Oh yes, he's a great talent. Needs some exposure to develop. As we spoke in our last broadcast, Joel, when you look at the development in the space of a year of a Luton Shelton, young DeMar Phillips, could he get a contract to get that kind of exposure, along with the likes of a Mario Swaby? Oh, they'll be, serving Jamaica's cause for a long time.
Mario Swaby with the throw-in. It's taken into feet, brought down and under control quickly enough. Not enough room to work there. Last touch off of Jamaica. Chile with the throw-in.
They're quite patient, the Chileans in midfield, and I think I've said this to you all the time. South American, Central American teams always look to the midfield where you find somebody with a long hair. They have 3 players with long hair who's always gesticulating. He's what I call the playmaker, the guy who gets the engine of the team going. And they have 2 such players in midfield just now, and you have to look to them. Here's one of them, number 21. He's the guy who gets the rhythm going. Here he is. He always fakes down the line, Joel, and plays it across to bring his other players into the play.
It will definitely be something that will have to be looked at the back from the back line of Jamaica. I'm sure they'll be well aware of this Chilean team's abilities. Another ball being played onto the pitch now. Just have to wait for that to be cleared up. But 5 minutes into it, and only the one clear chance so far. It fell to Jamaica and just squandered wide. Blistering shot, lovely build-up play as well. Just unable to find the back of the net. Good turn there, able to get away from his man. That was good control, good close skill from Mario Swaby. Earns his team a throw, and Luton Shelton is off after it like a flash, and he's managed to turn his man inside out. Taken to ground as well, so a free kick. You can see that it was Ricardo Fuller, as a matter of fact, went to ground, causing trouble early on for the Chileans.
Oh, absolutely. His pace of Ricardo Fuller and Luton Shelton is going to always give them trouble. There are two things that always gives the defense trouble: pace and power. And tonight we are not going so much with power, we're going with a lot of pace. Now here's a situation where we have a free kick. Fabian Davis is known to pick a lovely free kick over the years, and let's see what he can do with this one.
We have seen him strike a few, and he'll hit this one as well, bending it in towards the side netting. Some oohs and ahs from the crowd, but just into the side netting. They may have been deceived by the bend on it. The keeper wasn't. Washing it all the way was Nicholas Perich. And again, Jamaica with a second opportunity, really peppering shots at the goal.
Well, as we look at that free kick, what was wrong with it was just a little bit of the approach was wrong. He took 2 steps as opposed to 3 steps, which would have given him a little more height and made the ball bend a little later, which would have possibly forced a save out of the goalkeeper. But as you said, the keeper watched it all the way. It posed no danger.
Picking things up in the middle of the park now, just looking to weave his way away from 2 Jamaican players, and he's done very well to do so. Just looking to dink that ball over the top of the defense, and second opportunity here. It's been floated over to the near side. Jamaica with the time and space to clear it, just passing it out of defense. That's good, confident defending, just moving it up the line, working it along, and it just comes to a halt here as Chile themselves are forced to play it backwards. We just caught a glimpse of Coach Bora, and if you're going to just look at his results since joining the boys, Bora's boys, if you perform. Yes, Jamaica, Peru, November 15th, I believe they got a draw there, 1-0. So it's been mixed results actually. Of course, they went to Hong Kong for the Luna Cup, and they performed pretty well there. But at the moment, they're being forced to defend. No real pressure on the ball at the moment from Chile, just marking space at the moment, and ball just given away. Looks as if it went out into touch. It'll be a Chilean throw-in.
What you find that Bora is doing now, Joel, is that he is putting together what he considers a solid defense. And like any good coach, once you have your defense intact, then you can begin to build the midfield. Then you look towards the forward. Now, if you happen to have a squad that have those kinds of players, then it makes your job easier.
Ferrero just turning that one back to his right back. A lot of space in midfield at the moment. Jamaica just staying with a conservative line within their own half. And Chile just looking to penetrate that at the moment. Just controlling it there on the touch line. Cutting it back, the number 26, Juan Gonzalo Lorca. And spreads over to the far side, taking on the chest. Fake to play the long ball. This is well worked at the moment from Chile, showing good close control, and then they've earned themselves a free kick. That's perhaps a feature of the Jamaican game. You'll notice that perhaps when a team is able to keep possession of the ball, frustration may creep in, particularly with this young team.
Absolutely, but at the same time, that's where the psychological game comes in. And what is happening here is that it's a good test, because against the Swedes, we had a team that came at you, didn't give you much space. Here is a game where there's loads of space on the field, but there is a different kind of pressure. They frustrate you by keeping possession of the ball. Is it a question that you're going to have those fouls near the edge of the penalty area, where you have these good free kickers can use that to their advantage?
Richard McCallum there in goal. You can just see the exact angle he would be seeing as he's looking on to this free kick. 3 Chilean players around it. Eventually struck towards goal. That won't trouble the number 1 or the number 30, as it would happen. But fair shot from the number 21 of Chile, just unable to find the target.
Matthias Fernandez, yes.
Of course, he'll be looking to inspire his team. He's the big name player playing for Villarreal, but of course he's very young, but never too young in this game.
No, he does look as if he's the guy, the go-to guy, so to speak. And they have been, he has been trying to get the rhythm of the team going. And I think this is what you've got to understand. They're on a tour. They lost their last game just recently. They're coming here trying to correct the mistakes of the previous game. And I think what they're trying to do is make sure that they don't fall behind in the first half of this game. And the second half, should it remain goalless or find themselves behind, they're going to have to come on the attack.
Good quick passing movement to move the ball forward into the Chilean penalty box there. A few step overs before the cross, and it was decent looking as well. Unable to climb to meet it, Ricardo Fuller, but that's what he's there for. Definite presence in the air, just unable to claim it on that occasion. Ball eventually runs out over to the far side. This will be a Chilean throw in.
Well, it was good work by Demar Phillip once again on the left-hand side.
Throw in taken out to chest. 3 Jamaican players around him. He doesn't have any space to move, and that's knocked into touch. And it will be a Chilean throw in. And just looking to walk that one down the line. Turns it inside. Control let him down there. High boot, I believe, is the decision on the part of the referee, and I don't think Donald Stewart would really have much to complain about that one. Knocked over to the far side now, just looking to switch tacks, and done beautifully as well. Wonderfully weighted pass. Oh, straight through the legs of the number 8, Mario Swaby. He gets by with a little bit of help from his friends though. Fellow defender coming across to clear that one up. Chilean player just a little bit slow in getting up and getting back into an onside position, and Jamaica now looking to work their way down this flank. Just turns away from 2 Chileans and just looking to play it through the midfield. Ricardo Fuller, who's dropped a little bit deeper and lost out. This is a powerful run from the Chilean. Oh, he's hit the post as well and forced to knock it out behind for a corner kick. But that was a wonderful weaving run there, and it completely deceived the Jamaican back line, and only the post was the saviour.
Well, there's one Gonzalo Lorca who got away from Ricardo Fuller, who should have played that ball way over to the right-hand side. It was a bad pass intercepted by the midfield, and they really attacked in rather quickly.
That corner was taken short, and they looked to attack the byline, unable to get in the cross. Good tight defending there. But it will be a second corner in quick succession. As you can see, perhaps maybe Chile starting to gain a little bit of confidence.
Well, it appears as if they want to step up the game. They have seen enough of the Jamaicans, and they want to give them another kind of a test.
That one lofted into the far post, attempted the volley. First time a very difficult discipline. Luton Shelton may have gotten the better of his defender. Indeed he has, but he won't get the better of the second one. He brought him down illegally. Looked more like a rugby tackle than anything else.
Yes, it was.
Luton Shelton, of course, a live wire up front, and of course he now plies his trade in the English divisions.
Yeah, he plays with Sheffield United.
Recently signed, of course, from Sweden was that he came from. Just quick 1-2 down the touchline here, neatly done as well. Chile having to scramble in defence, and just going to ground there. Chile will continue to play it out. No whistle on the play, just knocking it out, just dinking it out over to the far side now, where there's a little space to run into. It's been cut off by the Jamaicans though, looking to play that one cross field and quickly intercepted by the very tall Donald Stewart. Ooh, attempted 1-2, couldn't quite find the weight on that pass that was required, but Mario Schaefer is more than willing to chase.
Well, you see, the good thing of what Boer is doing with this team is that in modern football, the wing-backs have to be attacking speedy players, have a fair amount of skill. And he has taken a Mario Schaefer, who's predominantly a midfielder, and turned him into a wing-back, and given him the freedom to come forward.
Definitely one to watch for the future. Arturo Sanhueza was the one that we just see with a quick deft touch. Everything seems to roll through him at the moment for Chile. You can see just evading 2 possible passes there to find him. So you can see that he's definitely an inspirational player. And of course, beware the players with the long hair is the old adage. That one knocked down the line. Just waiting to cut that one into the box. Cleverly done. Don't think they were quite on the same page. They're the 2 strikers. Lorca, of course, patrolling the edge of that 18-yard box, taken down in the middle of the park there by the famous Fabian Davis, and just played off over to the far side. We've seen a little bit less of attack from Jamaica down that flank. Perhaps that just implies the confidence that they're starting to have in Mario Swaby, who is in possession now. Just walks around the ball and players go to ground. Just knocking it around at the back, looking comfortable, Jamaica, at the moment. Of course, we've seen about 3 chances so far, 2 from open play, that free kick that Fabian Davis struck in that hit the side netting. At the moment, it's all step overs at the back in defence for Chile, and goal kick results.
Well, what's developing is the fact that it's a tactical game it is turning into. The probing of that midfield of Chile, trying to pry open that Jamaican defense. And as I said, one of the things that I've noticed about Corey is try to keep that Donald Stewart, Jerome Taylor, Chris Harvey combination, which is proving quite solid at the moment.
You are beginning to see a core, perhaps, of the team being formed, building it from the back, it would seem. As the ball is knocked over to Fabian Davis, you find him in space as well, brought down on the chest. Perhaps Chile may find to their detriment that you cannot allow Fabian Davis that kind of space. Fires in a shot, nice deflection as well, able to line one up, left-footed right into the side netting, but Jamaica continue to enjoy attacking possibilities.
Well, Lovell Palmer is not known to be a real goal scorer. However, he's a midfielder, converted into being a right wing-back, and he overlapped well. The deflection came his way. I felt he should have tried a cross, but nonetheless he went for that shot into the side netting. Better play would have been to cross it.
But in the international game today, or the modern game at least, you will be expecting your midfielders to finish.
Oh, absolutely.
Coming forward at the moment to Chile, just quickly stopped. That's cooled their attack, and you could see exactly what he was trying to do there. Got a push in the back for his trickery, and the referee was right place, right time to spot that one.
Well, they would have done their homework and realized that Luton Shelton might be a young player, but he's got some skills, and he's certainly got speed.
And he's showing them off tonight. Another one showing them off tonight is Mario Swaby. Has made it to the touchline as well. That was good perseverance. Wasn't able to get the hooks around it to get it back into the box. Only had one to aim for as well. Strong physical challenge there in the midfield, but caught out of position now. This one could be squirted through. It has. Chile are bearing down on goal. Good recovery. Keeper comes through. Went to ground. Referee is not impressed, and that's been struck right into the back of the net. Offside. No, it's been given, and it was an acute angle. Nobody really expected him to fire it in from that angle, but fire it he has. Fired them directly into the lead. Matias Fernandez with an impossible shot, it seemed. After that defensive work from the Jamaicans, you could just see perhaps that they got caught looking at the penalty call and didn't react as quickly as Villarreal's
well, McCallum came. He did pretty well. It was a dive. No water was there for him, though. And then everybody kind of stopped playing.
Just started to look around again. He did well, though, to find the limited space that was there at the near post. But 1-0 is the score to Chile, despite Jamaica having the better opportunities leading up to this
Right,
point.
I think that was scored by Gonzalo Fierro, the number 11. Firing that shot in, and that was after Mario Swaby made a lovely run down the line. Now there's a professional foul. Ricardo Fuller was on his way and he was body checked.
It was a wonderful counter-attack from one end of the field to the other in a split second, and able to find the back of the net. But that's exactly what happens when you have finishers on your team. They get a chance and they take it.
Well, what's interesting is that goal is going to give the Chileans some confidence, and it's going to be interesting to see whether or not Jamaica will be able to respond to it, and with maybe another 15-20 minutes to go to halftime, will they be able to pull level?
Well, I'll feel as if they will have that confidence, as if they can draw level. Of course, they've had the opportunities to go ahead, so obviously that's there for them, but will they be able to contain Chile, who are now looking to grow in their attacking forces, just chipping it over to the near side, starting to see space where there was none a moment or two ago, and Chile just starting to work things around. Just hard challenge coming in there. Wasn't impressed the linesman. He was well positioned, but going to ground there, the number 26. Just pick himself and dust himself off. And Chris Harvey will just knock it across to Donald Stewart. Played over now to Lovell Palmer on the far side. But you've really got to feel for the Jamaicans. They, as I've said, they've had the better of it going forward up until this point, and to go a goal down like that, you can definitely see that.
Well, the tackle that was missed in midfield, or lost in midfield, if you want to use that term, was what made the difference, and that's what you have when you have a counter-attacking situation. As Ricardo Fuller comes forward, he now did a dive.
Just going to ground on that one, unable to see really exactly what that was. Just tripping over himself, it would seem, and then that's been played forward into the middle of the park. Picking it up now is the number 14, turning, Jorge Valdivia, and running at people. He's given it away though, and comes up to this near side now. Mario Swaby looking to play that first time ball down the line. He's managed to beat his man as well. Gets in a left-footed cross. He's all alone in the box. Oh, just coming back to defend brilliantly was the centre-back. He's taken it around him now. Fabian Davis driven in across, and the diving header puts it out behind again. Chile under all kinds of pressure at the back, but somehow able to defend.
Yes, I felt the last cross from Fabian Davis could have been a little more accurate, but there again it was good work by Ishmael Fuentes. And here's the first cross. Lovely defending that time. Picked up by Fabian Davis. Faked his man very well, got the better of the two defenders. Should have cut the cross back some more. However, it did beat the goalkeeper. Nobody was attacking the far post. And of course, there was Fuentes to avert the danger.
It was DeMar Phillips running in, but he was second best to the defender. That cross taken poorly, and Chile will clear that. Oh, they're breaking away now. Just caught out of position temporarily there. That one just knocked off of the Chilean player, and that should be a throw into Jamaica. Just a quick look there at the Chilean bench. You would think that they'd be fairly pleased with what they've seen up until this point.
Well, they're ahead by 1-0. They're having much the better of the midfield, and it's just a question, they need to convert that into attacking plays. Will they be able to do that? Well, Jamaica had a glorious opportunity to equalize just a while ago, which put a different complexion on the game, and I think Jamaica needs to get a goal if they want to be competitive come the second half.
DeMar Phillips is looking to orchestrate that right now. Cross comes in. He's had to get low for the header, and as a result, not much power on it. And Nicholas Perrick able to pick that one up and chuck it out.
It was a poor cross.
Just played with the outside of the boot there, curling it across the back line and finding his target. Chile looking to work it down the flank yet again. Options available to them in the middle of the field. They've taken up good positions on the park, Chile. They're playing for each other. There's a pass available to him now as well. Picks it up. I'm just looking to turn this one around. Not in no rush whatsoever, Chile, and why would they be? Up 1-0 here.
Well, the players in midfield are supporting each other as they should, and there is really no pressure, as here we see Luton Shelton coming away, but he's now under different kind of pressure there.
Of course, the pressure to get the equalizer. It's one thing to be able to give your team the go-ahead goal, but when you have that pressure of being behind and knowing that you're the informed striker, who just lost out in the middle of the park there. Oh, easily beat his man, overcommitted himself there. Chile taking their time to pick apart the Jamaican defense and somehow able to recover there. It was Chris Harvey that broke things up at the back, and good time too for Jamaica as well, because things were starting to get a little bit hairy at the back there. Fabian Davis looking to take it down on the chest and able to get into position for that one. And Chile with a throw in. Coach Bora looks like he's writing something up on the chart.
Well, what has happened to the defense is that the defense is getting a little overexcited, and they're losing a little bit of their character, especially with Donald Stewart, who plays in front of the two center halves. What is happening to him is that he's getting caught either on the left side too much, the right side, or upfield. So there's a big gap behind him, and I think Bora's picked at it.
What he just put down was the tactics. Didn't want anybody getting a peek over his shoulder. At the moment being helped up, Chile have a free kick, they take it quickly. Again, he's found all kinds of space down that left flank. Still hasn't really been able to get the beating of Lavelle Palmer, but he has had the opportunity. Nothing called, Jamaica able to clear. Almost took too long with that one. Came under some pressure from behind. And this one being knocked along the line. Luton Shelton is greased lightning. Look at him go. He's looking to beat his man. He's managed to regain his feet, knocking around his player. That's obstruction. He was looking to round his man, completely bamboozled him, and was barred off. Luton Shelton is starting to really heat things up here at the National Stadium.
Well, he's getting emotional, and it's good, because you have to want that goal. You have to want the service that he's not getting. And he's deciding, okay, I can't get the service, I'm going to take it on my own.
Wonderful move there to knock it around his man, and hopefully we'll be able to see a replay of that later on and see exactly what took place. Just looks like he stretched out the arm across the chest there. But Jamaica have forgotten about that and now are looking to move forward. Questions of a handball there with Fabian Davis, but allowed to continue. Again, he's been able to knock it around his man. The keeper's come for it, and he's done just enough to take it away. And Chile now looking to break again. They're very, very deadly on the counter-attack and almost, but not quite, caught in offside. Saving flag there for the Jamaican back line.
Absolutely. But at the same time, the game is opening up and it's getting more exciting. And this is what the fans want to see. End-to-end stuff.
It is an international friendly and has been played in high spirits. Poor cross in the end. Had options available to him in the middle, but wasn't able to find any of them. Chile now just looking to slow down that tempo, just facing up the Jamaicans and passing it into the space. Pass and move, that seems to be working out for them. Just stepping into the pocket there though, and able to intercept Chris Harvey. Again, he's coming up forward there. Luton Shelton was shaping like he wanted a shot, just carrying it across, clearly offside. He practically grew roots there, didn't he?
Yes, he was ball watching, as they popularly say.
Chilean bench there.
Upset about something. Don't know what it is. They got the offside.
Just moving gingerly there, it would seem, Ricardo Fuller.
Actually, that's how he walks. He walks to that old time, what you call the bop style. But nonetheless, I want him to get a little emotional like Luton Shelton is, because he does have lightning speed as well, and he does have that skill where he can take on the defense. And this is why when you play the 4-4-2 players, you need a direct player like Shelton, but you also need a player who can dribble as well.
Lavelle's Palmer's throwing finds its way all the way back to the Chilean back line, and climbing for it themselves here, just looking to knock it over the heads of a few defenders after being caught offside. Again, just looking to work it up and inside in the field. Just playing it back there as well, Chris Harvey. So almost half an hour in, Chile with the lead, 1-0 up. Jamaica with the far superior number of chances, and here's another one fired in, and he's cracked off the bar. Luton Shelton has done everything but score, and at the moment, Jamaica are wondering what they have to do to get a goal. Chile are living very dangerously at the back at the moment, and Jamaica are just starting to put things into place, and just the pressure was eased there. But for a time there, Nicholas Perrott must have felt like he was in a shooting game.
Absolutely. Luton Shelton is a live wire, as you say. Here he is, picking up that ball from that lovely pass. Turn, he had one intention on his mind. Fire that ball, it didn't dip as he would have liked, and the post was in his way.
I think the bar is still shaking after that shot. It was a tremendous strike, just unable to get it to dip in time. So the score remains 1-0, but Jamaica with all kinds of chances to find that equalizer. And you just have to wonder if luck may have run out. Or do you create your own luck?
You do create your own luck, but also football is a very ungrateful game. You know, Jamaica is creating all these chances, not being able to put the ball away, and they need to. Although we get excited about that ball hitting the post, it really should have been in the back of the net.
to be fair, and it would have been a spectacular strike had it gone in.
Actually, I believe he hit that ball just a little too hard. What he should have done was go for the dipper, which would have beaten the goalkeeper. He got excited about being able to get a shot because he hasn't had much room, and he just went for too much foul.
Sanhuesa's ball at the moment, everything is going through him. You can see him just standing up on the centre circle and directing traffic. The midfield general looking to get a turn on that one there and able to really regain possession of the ball. And Jamaica are looking to break down this near touchline, looking to make their way forward with DeMar Phillips trying to link up with Luton Shelton.
Well, Shelton seems to be the go-to guy. What I would like to see is his inspiration rubbing off on Ricardo Fuller, who seemed to have lost a little bit of his way right now.
But the centre-back pair have had their hands full with Luton Shelton. You can see that they've been exchanging duties with him, perhaps not able to keep up with his blistering pace all the time. But Alvaro Ormeno and Jorge Vargas have been pretty busy there in the middle of the park. Just looking to usher that one out. Successful in doing so, that'll be a goal kick.
As we look at Wendell Downswell on the left and Bora Miltunovic, coach and assistant coach, trying to see what they're going to have to say to the team to bring them into a level or winning position.
All right, if we're going to analyze this first half, just looking at Jamaica's play, what are some of the things that you think, yes, these are definite avenues of success and progress that we can take, and what are some of the things that perhaps we shouldn't be trying so much of?
I do believe that, as we see here again, what you have are players who are predominantly midfielders, and they have yet to work out their roles.
That one lofted in towards Ricardo Fuller, who finds himself with an opportunity to attack the Chilean back line. It's the first time he's really been given a chance to run at them, and unfortunately a red shirt is able to knock one count behind. That will be a corner kick though. As you can see, the stands are starting to become a bit more vibrant. People still joining us here, looking forward to seeing the remainder of this match, wondering if Jamaica will be able to find that equalizer and perhaps eventually the winner.
With regards to the crowd, we have to remember that it is actually the start of the week, and some people are perhaps just not leaving work. But nonetheless, the stadium is filling up, a little bit appreciable.
He'll be hoping for a better delivery this time around, Fabian Davis. And he gets it as well, but straight into the hands of the keeper on this occasion. A bit too close to Perrick in goal. He's been pretty commanding as well, Perrick. We've seen him leave his line with reckless abandon on a couple of occasions, but he's been successful in getting to the ball, so you can see that his decision-making progress is fairly good. Chile now just looking to break on Jamaica, looking to stretch that back line, taking up a position in the middle of the park, just played through the legs there, having to come in and challenge strongly in the end to knock away. And now just looking to work things up this near touchline. Mario Swaby just looking as he has the opportunity, and I think a few of his teammates were letting him know that the switch was on there.
Well, the player had made a run forward, and had he played that ball, he would have caught the surprise. So he went back and he covered himself pretty well. But the Chileans, as usual, their style, Joel, is that they surrender in the defensive end, as they're doing just now, giving you room to come forward and then catch you on the counter-attack, which is what they've done with Jamaica a few times, right?
That they have. But wondering if they'll learn from that tactic, having seen Chile deploy that counter-attack on a few occasions. They may have been given an opportunity to break there, but free kick's been given. I'm not too sure about that call. It just looked like he stepped on the ball.
Well, you said I think Jamaica just got a break just from the referee.
Kick will be taken by Chris Harvey. Turns it around to the back. His partner at the back, Jermaine Taylor, sweeps it over to the far side. Fabian Davis just playing it off there. Again, it's been played towards Ricardo Fuller. Davis picks it up now. Quick shimmy. Ooh, strong challenge. High boot there as well as he came in two-footed. And it seems to have come off worse for wear, quick look at the stopwatch there. Not much time to go, only 10 minutes of regulation time remaining in the half. And you can see that definitely they're just demonstrating that he did come in with studs showing rather high as well. Just a clumsy looking challenge more than anything else. I don't think it was malicious.
Yes, but he was committed to the challenge, realized he was late. Lovell Palmer, to his credit, saw that what the intention of the player was and pulled out. That had he come in, both of them could have been hurt pretty badly. But he pulled out, and I think that is all play acting at the moment. There's nothing wrong with him.
We'll see. Cabby unable to regain his feet and being led off the pitch. Quick words with Julio Gutierrez there, who of course is partnering Lorca up front for Chile. You think it's in them to get a second goal here?
Oh, well, the game is a wide open affair. I do believe that Chile does have another gear to go to, and they have not done so yet. You've seen glimpses of it on the counter-attack, so it means that they can play fast. But I think they're waiting to see what happens in the second half.
There was some delay in the taking of that free kick. A few of the Jamaicans had congregated by the bench, and Chile may have been looking to catch them by surprise, but quick to react were the Jamaicans. Chile in possession at the moment yet again, and it's that man in the middle of the park, Arturo Sanhueza, who's directing traffic over to the far side now. Fabian Davis being allowed quite a bit of space here as the as the first half has progressed, as we've seen him come into his own with the crossing as well, just cutting it inside now and looking to play it into space. Oh, he's found Mario Schwabe with time to look up and find the cross. He's just played it down the line, looking to get it in behind and across the face of goal, directly across the face of goal. All it needed was a touch, and instead goes all the way out.
You know what that reminds me of? It reminds me clearly of what happened in the under-17 game that Jamaica had against not only the USA, but also against Trinidad, which is vital. There's not enough players finding themselves in the penalty area, or they're arriving too late. I'm surprised, I'm not surprised that the first man in there was Luton Shelton, but players arriving from the other side. That wasn't happening, and that is a weakness of the Jamaican game, the Caribbean game. In attack, we do not commit enough, and this is what you're seeing.
Looking to switch things over to the far side, but just looking to loop it over the head and allow to run into touch, and able to bring it down. But I think that's a correct analysis, Ali. The commitment towards the goal mouth, particularly. Being able, in a goal mouth scramble, just any touch will do. It doesn't have to be pretty, you just need to really throw a body in that situation. And I don't know if it's fear of injury, putting your body in the line, or fear of counter-attack, as we've seen Chile do, but I feel as if there should have been a few more bodies in the box on that occasion.
It's been a feature of Jamaica's football over the years, whereby players just don't commit themselves to in the modern football, where players like we're talking about your wingbacks and your midfielders, there's little difference. You don't have a forward anymore unless it's going to be the point man. Everybody else has to arrive and defend and create, and this is what is not happening. That was the occasion when you needed 4 or 5 players in the box. They weren't there.
I agree. If you know your teammates and you're familiar with what they're capable of doing. We've seen Mario Schwabe have the beating of the right back on several occasions, and we've seen that he's able to whip in those crosses. So, just gamble.
Well, I don't consider it a gamble even. They should get in there, because in the modern game you have what is called transition. And if you have transition, then players... No, that's what... There is a problem. There you saw a play. Player had an opportunity to cross, didn't do so.
But you saw how quickly Chile were, in reaction to that, they were able to get possession of the ball after Jamaica lost it in the middle of their own half. But you saw how quickly 3 or 4 players started running towards goal, creating options for the passer. Now that one's been floated in towards the box, body check there, not allowing him to run on to it.
I'm afraid Fuller is surprising me a little bit. It's either that he has not been playing much football and he's just seeking to find his way, but all those body checks and the professionalism that is being employed on him, happens in football, and you have to learn how to roll with a punch, so to speak, like in boxing. That body check that just reached him, he should have been able to slip around, but he's making it frustrating, if you want to use that term.
Fabian Davis again just knocking that ball into space. Luton Shelton is giving chase and giving all kinds of worries to the Chilean back line, so much so that they're forced to give up a corner kick. And again, it's that man Luton Shelton doing the business up front for Jamaica, flying the flag.
I'm going to add a little bit of controversy, because here it is. You have a player like Nandi Lowe. To me, if we learn how to manage him and deal with him psychologically, he would be a perfect player to have playing alongside a Luton Shelton in terms of his strength, especially against South American teams.
That one whipped in. You could see that he was trying to get it into that near post for a faint touch. Didn't quite work out for him. Throw in is the result. Better looking cross, all kinds of space and time, and over the bar. You really should be doing better in situations like that. Had all the time in the world to pick a spot, and Donald Stewart.
Well, he's not known to be a goalkeeper. A goal scorer.
But again, this is about goals. You cannot win games unless you score goals. Every single person on that field should be able to score goals. I mean, even if you look at a goalkeeper in the modern game, you see keepers scoring.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's not something to be expected. But, you know, you have to know how to put the ball in the back of the net. And at the moment, Jamaica are struggling to do so.
Well, when that ball came to Stewart, and if we see that on a replay again, he looked actually surprised. And all he did was swing his foot at the ball without any conviction.
Picking it up in the middle of the park again is the number 14, Jorge Valdivia. Just looking to knock it in behind the defence. Won't test his pace against Mario Swaby. And just makes his way back. It's only 3 or so minutes remaining in regulation. 1-0 the scoreline to Chile. Jamaica with all kinds of opportunities going forward. They've hit the bar, they've hit the post, just haven't been able to hit the back of the net. Fabian Davis there climbing for a double header. Donald Stewart, he's much better in the air. Had that been to head, I feel as if we may have seen the net bulge. And Chile just looking so relaxed, so easy in possession as they roll things out. Coming down this near touch line, able to keep it in as well, turning it around. Prospect of a couple of Jamaican defenders in front of him, just looking to loop that one over the back line. As we just take us through this replay, Ali.
Okay, well, here is Donald Stewart. He seemed surprised. He was not in a position, he didn't adjust his feet, and he was there transfixed in a position when he should have used his feet, like in cricket, to reposition himself and attack that ball. That ball kicked, he waited, didn't realize he had so much room, perhaps was hoping that somebody would have taken it off him, and he just kicked at the ball. There was just no conviction.
Leaning back all the time, and that was bound to go over the top.
If that ball had gone in the goal, he would have been just as surprised as I would have been.
But I'm sure he would be just as grateful as many of these fans are. They've come to see Jamaica put the ball in the back of the net, and at the moment they've done everything but. Chile up 1-0 with a minute remaining in regulation time. Jamaica just knocking the ball around the middle of the park. Not quite the same passing game that the Chileans have, who are more willing to hold the ball and draw players towards them. Jamaica move at pace, and here they are with one of the paciest, Mario Swaby, swinging that one into the box. Defending in numbers, La Roja at the moment. Fabian Davis just working it away from the pressure point, as a matter of fact, and Nicholas Perrick able to claim that one.
Poor cross by Logo.
But again, the build-up play has been good from Jamaica. It's just that finishing touch. Conservative header there, just knocking that one into touch. Better safe than sorry from Jermaine Taylor.
You know, over the years, Joe, we've always had this thing, and perhaps responding to your call, Bora is warming up. We just saw a true goal scorer in Fabian Taylor.
1 minute of extra time there. You can see the time tablet flashing 1 minute. If you missed that, the stadium announcer probably told you. Chile in possession of the ball. They've had pockets of possession, of course, control possession. Jamaica always blistering when they have possession of the ball, able to put together several different attacks in the time it takes Chile to put together one.
Well, what has been happening, Joel, is the fact that the signal has come from the bench that there's just a minute or so to go before halftime, and they don't want to give up a goal, so they're retaining possession, which is another feature of Central and South American teams. They can kill off a game when they want to by just retaining possession.
Ooh, that was a blatant handball. What exactly was he thinking? Donald Stewart there swatting the ball into touch. I think he's been watching the NBA Finals. Just swatted that one into touch.
He doesn't look like LeBron James. No, I think what happened to him just a while ago is that he has to go on the corners after the game, and he's going to have to answer to some of his friends.
Well, the only answers Jamaica have been able to supply at the moment haven't been satisfactory. The score is 1-0 to Chile. Jamaica, of course, have been playing some really exciting football in pockets, but they found it difficult, and I mean difficult, to put the ball in the back of the net. Struck the post, struck the bar, unable to score. Chile, they did the business, they did exactly what they needed to do, and I hope you'll join us for another exciting second half.
You're watching another exciting football game on Sportsmax. Sportsmax, no games, just sports.
Jamaica, introducing to you the real energy drink, Cyclone. Listen to me, now, man. Pop down footballer, lame coach. If you're not drink Cyclone and Bill, me no want sooner. Football fever again. Run a nice Cyclone footballer player. Everybody come together. Remember, $1 from every dollar Cyclone go to the senior football program. Cyclone.
Hey, I haven't seen that work all month. You okay?
Heineken celebrates its sponsorship of the UEFA Champions League by giving you 1 month of non-stop football excitement. Get the Heineken 12-pack at your nearest supermarket for 1 month of free Sportsmax and Fox Soccer Channel. It's so much action, you won't have time for anything else.
We haven't seen any guys at work. What's up?
Get a month of Sportsmax and Fox Soccer Channel free when you purchase a Heineken 12-pack. Heineken, official sponsor of UEFA Champions League football. Conditions apply.
For a comprehensive roundup on the latest news, views, and happenings in the world of track and field, watch The World of Athletics, 6:30 p.m. exclusively on Sportsmax. No games, just sports.
Jamaica, introducing to you the real energy drink, Cyclone. Listen to me, now, man. Pop down footballer, lame coach. If you're not drink Cyclone and Bill, me no want sooner. Football fever again. Run a nice Cyclone footballer player. Everybody come together. Remember, $1 from every dollar Cyclone go to the senior football program. Cyclone.
You're watching another exciting football game on Sportsmax. Sportsmax, no games, just sports.
The players there were taking to him and his obvious enthusiasm for the game.
Oh, without doubt, he lives, breathe, eat, and live football. And he's hoping to make Jamaica, what, the 5th country he takes to the...
I believe it's the 6th.
The 6th country he takes to the World Cup. And I dare say he may just pull it off. He has time on his side. The qualifying begins next year. He is trying to set a system and a philosophy in place, which I think will work because it works on the psyche of the Jamaican people, which is ball handling, the short, snappy passing. I think the one thing that they have to get the Jamaicans into is the patience, and that's a very important aspect of football.
Absolutely, it's something that was typified. As a matter of fact, it could have been a byline for the first half. Chile definitely patient in their approach play and in their finishing as well. Perhaps Jamaicans just snapping at a few of those chances that they got, and as a result, they weren't able to claim any. But at the moment, it'll be Jamaica playing from left to right on your screens, and Chile in the red and black shorts with white socks playing from right to left. Actually about to get underway. Jose Guerrero Rivas from Nicaragua just getting into position now to kick things off. Luton Shelton seems to be reprising his role up front alongside Ricardo Fuller. We'll be looking for a bit more from Ricardo Fuller here in the second half. In the first half, he was a little bit absent, to be honest.
Yes, he was. I'm wondering, as I said to you earlier, was he not playing much football, or is he finding the slippery conditions a little much to handle? But I think it was more an attitudinal problem to me. He didn't expect to be hustled and bustled that way. The South Americans are not known for that.
But that's the exact tack that they've taken with dealing with Ricardo Fuller as he goes forward now, just taking up position as Jamaica having to play the ball back a little bit and turning that one inside as well, and it'll be played down to this near touchline. Of course, finding space here in the second half may be a little bit easier as teams begin to tire, but for the time being everybody should be fresh after that break at half-time. Fabian Davis being pushed in the back there, and he's earned the first free kick for the second half.
Well, there are a couple of changes. Fabian Taylor has come in at the expense of Donald Stewart, so that means clearly Bora is looking to go on the attack, and Marius Swaby makes way for Woolry Wolf. I'm not sure who's going to go to left fullback, because I can't see Woolry Wolf going to left fullback. He lacks speed, but he does have good close skills, and he would be best served playing at midfield. So we'll see the tactical adjustments that has taken place. But clearly Fabian Taylor coming in is a clear sign that there is support for Luton Shelton and Ricardo Fuller.
That does seem to be the tactic that Bora has in mind, putting in two more central attack-minded players. As that one swung into the box, Fabian Davis got a little bit better delivery on that one, unable to climb and meet it though, were the taller heads of the Jamaicans in the 18. And just running back to pick this ball up here, as you can hear the official announcements of those substitutions. Ball knocked high and out into touch. So just 2 minutes into the second half, 1-0 is still the score. Fabian Davis there on your screens. He's been working it down the flanks in the first half. We expect him to continue with the same kind of tactic as you see two more central players coming into the fold. Luton Shelton, who was definitely the shining light of the first half, not afraid to run at 2 or 3 defenders at a time, does have tremendous pace, and he's looking to use it to full effect. Ricardo Fuller seems as if he may have come to play here in the second half. He's tracking down that ball and a little bit overly aggressive in that. Just to report on the other side of things, Chile, of course, no substitutions, and why would they?
Well,
fix it if it ain't broke, huh?
I was down in the dugout and the changing rooms earlier, and the agreement is that they'll have unlimited changes. So as the game progresses, you will see almost everybody getting a feel of the game.
At the moment, it's Chile with the feel for the ball, just looking to continue where they left off in the first half, with their attacking, knocking the ball around. Outside of the right boot was the avenue to chip it in behind the defences, and quickly out to claim that one, Richard McCallum. Sends it long upfield, and it's evaded 2 Chileans. Not the second time around though, looking to play this one upfield, Arturo Vidal. And looking to work it now. Just some space opening up here for the pass to squeeze through. I think the angle may have been cut off sufficiently there by Lavelle Palmer, and indeed it was.
Good defensive work by Palmer, ushering it out and putting his body in between himself and the player. But I think also, as you look at that midfield with Woolry Wolf coming in, he's a pretty good player. He played pretty well in the semi-finals and finals of the recent Red Stripe Cup, and he has been knocking on the door of the national team for some time. So let's see if he can make good use of his chance.
I was impressed by his passing game in the game that you mentioned, and we'll see whether he's able to exert some influence with his passing and vision, much in the same way that Arturo Sanhuesa has been able to for the Chileans.
Another feature, I don't know if you'd call it a feature, but another thought that I'm picking up from Bora Multunovic is that he has good respect for the experience and the kind of leadership that Fabian Davis brings to the team. And I think we might see him do pretty much like what Rene Simoes did with an agent Peter Cargill and find a spot for him where he can kind of stabilize the team.
A level head, so to speak. Chile now looking to attack the flanks of Jamaica. Quick 1-2 pass, looking to get it to the byline again, able to keep pace. Lavelle Palmer. He's always been in front of his opposite number there, and again this time able to defend. It's the number 23 actually, who was looking to get by him.
Well, Lovell Palmer does have a fair bit of skill. He's a midfielder by trade.
That one's been played across to the edge of the 18-yard box, shaping to shoot, took a deflection, and that tamed the shot in the end for Richard McCallum. Took it on the hop, and hops out to the edge of the 18-yard box.
He certainly was hopping.
Sends that one up over the halfway line. Couldn't quite time the header, but able to win possession.
But Joel, as we look to the Jamaica team, which is really where we're looking to see what they have to offer, especially when the qualifiers become. And earlier you mentioned that there is no Jermaine Hugh. And we're talking about players who can create openings. And you look at players, what I call the playmaker. And when we have a Luton Shelton and a Ricardo Fuller, the service isn't coming in this game. And we've got to search for players who can give you that kind of service and release your forwards. We're not seeing that player coming into the Bora Multunovic mix.
Well, Luton Shelton seems to be the type of player that's quite capable of creating something for himself. So perhaps those are the kinds of players that we'll be looking to in the future. Is it really just a dearth of players who have that kind of inclination, the type of people that want to open up opportunities for their teammates?
Well, you have playmakers and you have midfielders. Here in the Chilean team, you have young Matthias Fernandez. Clearly, he's a facilitator. He's a guy who creates the rhythm of the team, and he orchestrates the midfield. Even at age 21, he is the main go-to guy, along with the other
Arturo
Sanhesa, who are two young players, and they are showing great maturity. And that's what I'm not seeing out of the midfield of the Jamaicans at the moment.
It'll come with experience as this team, this unit begins to gel. Of course, Fabian Davis has been playing an integral part of that. Of course, you can see just from the feature that we had of Bora Milutinovic during the break that Fabian Davis was one of the more outspoken members of the squad. And you can see that's just an indication of his leadership. Chile now just working the ball through the middle of the park, just caught up between two Jamaican players, and now looking to move it forward into the path of Ricardo Fuller. Just steps over it, allowing it to run. Perhaps the speed of the play is broken down there as that ball is floated into the box, and not enough heads there challenging for that one.
And as you mentioned, there was the good left foot of Wolverine Wolf sending in that cross. Just a little off target, but nonetheless, this is what needs to be given. You need to provide that service for your forwards.
Just looking to knock it up the far flank again now, being met by yet another red jersey. You're seeing Chile starting to press a little bit further forward than we saw them committing to in the first half. Still no real outstanding chances here in the second 45. Only about 8 minutes in. As you can see, they're picking things up with Luton Shelton in possession, turning on it and playing it backwards. What are the options available? Pass it into the post now, just knocking it into the box, 18-yard box, and cleared high into the stands. Just you could see exactly what they were trying to do. They were trying to break them down on that flank and perhaps get in behind them, but Chile have been very savvy to that.
Oh yes, what happened there though is, unlike the Chileans, when you reach a certain area just on the edge of the penalty box, it has to be done very quickly. There they were still in a lackadaisical approach. There's a little more pace to it, but there was not enough pace to actually catch the defense turning.
This corner kick coming in again, it finds the hands of Nicholas Peric, almost as if he called for it himself, and picks that one easily. And again they're allowed to roll it out, and Chile will look to attack down this near flank, having to turn it back themselves though.
Going back to that corner by Fabian Davis, that's the third corner that he has played over into the hands of Nicholas Pilic. Now what has happened is that he gets away with that corner playing in the local Premier League because the players, the goalkeepers are not as dominant as they should be. And he hasn't made that adjustment here now.
Oh, this may have squirted into the path of Luton Shelton. It was a strong challenge, to be fair, but it looks as if Jamaica won the free kick. A few Chileans crowding around the referee now, including the goalkeeper, as I said earlier, is not afraid to leave his line. And there he is in the thick of things. Chilean, there's a stretcher on the field, so it looks as if he'll need some medical attention.
Well, I thought it was a bad tackle by Ricardo Fuller. It was a 50-50 ball, but I think he showed the sole of his boot at that time. And the Chilean defender, number 13, Jorge Vargas, was actually committed to the tackle, and he came off the worst in that collision. Here, as we see it, Ricardo Fuller going, and both men came in. Yes, he actually did go in with the sole of his boot. Could have been dangerous.
Could have been. It would have been perhaps even more dangerous to himself had he gone in with the toe, because having to stretch like that, it would have been likely that he'd pick up an injury.
Absolutely.
Like that. So it really is difficult in a situation like that where it's really split second. So perhaps tempers flared for a moment, but it seems to have been calmed by Mr. Rivas.
Well, there we see Jorge Vargas still getting a little excited. He's inciting the crowd at the moment, and it's not such a good idea. As we look at number 14,
Jorge Valdivia.
So it's Chile, Joel, leading by 1-0 after 19 minutes. It was scored by Juan Gonzalo Lorca. An acute angle, but here's the captain, Valdivia.
It was well taken as well, the finish. Seems to be a substitution being made now. Ricardo Fuller seems as if he'll be leaving the park. His last contribution being the hefty challenge. So perhaps that was a move of diplomacy there from Coach Bora.
I have no doubt it is, but at the same time, Ricardo Fuller was not making the impact on the game, and it's good that he wants to now look at Fabian Taylor, who's another quality player.
Fabian Taylor is definitely one to watch as well. Very much in the ilk. He's got the power, he's got the pace, and will be interesting to see how he performs at the highest level. That throw-in taken over the halfway line and just played all the way back. Peric should be able to collect that one easily enough.
Of course, Fabian Taylor has played professional. He was with the Metro Stars in New York for a little bit. Did score some wonderful goals. Injury kind of robbed him of his place, and he never got back to the kind of form that he held, because he was a starter for most of the games for the Metro Stars.
That one hefted into the stands. No mistake with that one. Almost an hour into proceedings, Chile still holding on to that 1-0 lead. They took it in the 19th minute, and they haven't let go in possession at the moment, just unable to keep control of things and knocked into touch. Jamaica have had an hour to respond, or at least an hour to put the ball in the back of the net. It looks as if Chile will be preparing now to make a substitution of their own. Rodrigo Melendez seems to be preparing, and it's Jamaica in attack at the moment. A few players forward for him as well. Fabian Davis is the one that he's chosen. It's played out to this near touchline. Will he be able to produce a cross? I feel as if that one bent out behind the goalpost, and that would be a goal kick.
I'm a little surprised that an experienced player like Fabian Davis, that ball coming at him with the defender closing needed to have been played back inside almost immediately. The moment he controlled it, the opportunity was lost. He had to put it on his left foot to square it in, but he did try for his right foot.
Vidal sends it sprawling over to the far side. Jamaica managed to intercept. That's the foot of Woolry Wolf. He's on the prowl in the middle of the park. Nikolai Finlayson there picking things up, just turning things around as well. And again, see Finlayson there in possession. Comes across to this near touchline. Again, Jamaica just looking comfortable in possession, knocking things around the back. Chile have that red line right in front of them, prepared to step in should they see an opportunity, but none has been given on this occasion. And having said that, I almost saw the pass being given away. They're having to run away from the attacker there, Lovell Palmer, turning around and hoofing it upfield. Now then, it's been played into the centre circle. Jamaica looking to break down that far side. That's the substitute just getting possession there, Fabian Taylor. Turning around again. Jamaica going nowhere fast at the moment.
Well, the space is being closed down, and they're not willing to go for the searching pass, and they might find themselves in trouble because what you find is that some players will force you into making mistakes in your penalty box. But here they come forward.
Space starting to open up now. It's all about the options that you choose when you're in attack like this. That one swung in, fires in a header. The keeper is perfectly positioned, but it must be said either side of him, and we would have seen the equalizer. But that's Fabian Taylor having an immediate impact.
An immediate impact, but guess what? He got excited on the cross, and here it comes in. A lovely cross it was. The hedge grew up. He did not pick his spot. He couldn't believe he had so much room, and it went straight to Pirik, who is a pretty good keeper.
We saw something similar in the first half. It was the man he replaced on that occasion, who was in that position, who skied it over the bar, Donald Stewart. This time it went to the head of Fabian Taylor, but unable to choose either side of the goalkeeper.
But you see, you mentioned earlier, Joel, that if you're playing at this international level, you cannot get those chances and not put them away. And Jamaica's got a number of opportunities today. So in post-mortem, we're going to say that Jamaica did pretty well, did so and so, and you come out a loser. That's not what you want. No coach wants that. It's better, what they say in boxing, it's better to have an ugly win than a pretty defeat. And that is what Jamaica seems to be headed towards.
I mean, as you said, pretty defeat. They have been playing attractive football. It's been entertaining. The crowd here has been roaring in response to any forays that Jamaica have had. And to be fair, they've been fairly well constructed. It's just being able to find that finishing touch in the final third that's been what's lacking. And when you look back to the World Cup run that Jamaica went on, the goals were coming in. You know, that you definitely had players who came into form and were able to put it into the back of the net, and Andy Lowe being one of them.
And of course you had Dion Burton, who is still playing pretty good. He's a player that the Jamaicans love to hate, because he's not a frilly player.
Almost managed to slide that one through into the number 11. Beautifully weighted pass. Had Gonzalo Ferrero gotten on the end of that one, I fear we may have seen another goal. And at the moment, though, it's just battling to control that throw-in. It's been given up. Jamaica seems to have claimed up, looking at the referee's assistant with a look of shock on his face. Thought it would go his way. It goes the Jamaican way. Now looking to play this one down the touchline. Won't be able to keep it in. And Chilean throw-in.
So after 63 minutes, it's still 1-0, and the Chileans are about to make another change. They're bringing in their number 2.
With Alvaro Ormeno. Yet to see who he will be replacing.
It looks to be
looks
Julio
like as if it's the
Gutierrez.
number 9, yes. Julio Gutierrez. Now then, Jamaica have picked the ball up in a prime position. It was 3 against 2 for a moment. But again, that moment was lost due to a bit slow reactions.
But without doubt, Fabian Taylor has injected a little life up front. in giving good support thus far to Luton Shelton.
Yes, it's an interesting pairing, these two. Luton Shelton, of course, we all know about his pace, but Fabian Taylor has that X factor about him. You know, you just feel as if something's going to happen anytime he's on the field, and he may get the opportunity here. Ooh, strong sliding tackle there, and just stands over his man. Just some serious looks being exchanged there between the two players. Jamaica look as if they'll be making a substitution of their own to counter the number 6, and that's Keneal Moody, and he'll be replacing the number 22. It seems as if the numbering was wrong on that substitution, but we'll get confirmation for that as you see. Yes, Roberto Gutierrez out, Andre Ormeno in. That's the confirmation of the Chilean substitution. Nicholas Perrick there just teasing Fabian Taylor. Throwing it out now to this near touchline, picked up for Chile by Arturo Vidal. Just looking to work it down that flank. Matias Fernandez hasn't been as vocal in the second half, Matias Fernandez, or at least eloquent with his game. Now looking to employ that long ball, aiming in towards Luton Shelton. He's got 3 Chilean players around him, 3 red shirts around him, and it's always going to be difficult when it's a ratio of 3 to 1. Ooh, good close control here. You can see why many believe that he is one to watch in the future. And of course, we know that he plies his trade in Spain. So just to confirm the substitution that took place a little earlier for Jamaica, Moody came in, the number 6, and Finlayson was the one that was asked to leave. Just knocking around at the back at the moment. Jamaica haven't been able to produce the same kind of opportunities, the quality, the caliber of opportunities that they got in the first half, but that was decent control to bring it down. Ran away from the defender, but that may have served him well, buying some time for Jamaica to perhaps start knocking the ball together as they're doing now, cutting it back. And the pace of that's just dying. Calling for it is Luton Shelton. Looked to swing that cross in, took a deflection and out into touch, and Luton Shelton took a tumble in the box, and you can see, oh, they're going at it right now in the box. The goalkeeper just came off his line and pushed. It would seem it was Fabian Taylor. It was Fabian Taylor that he pushed, and Fabian Davis is there just trying to cool things down as tempers really are beginning to flare.
Well, there's the professional game that is played off the ball, and what is happening is that is it the South American emotion that's coming to the fair? Well, they also should know that Jamaicans don't back away from most things.
I think it just stemmed from the tumble that Luton Shelton when he went to ground. I think Nicholas Perrick took offence to that. Thought maybe he was trying to get a penalty kick by dramatic means, and decided to get up in his face. That cross coming in now. Chile able to get a head on it, couldn't quite bring it down. Ooh, just completely scuffed the shot. For a moment there, you just felt as if you'd be able to belt that one in, but
well, there was pressure coming onto Lovell Farmer, and he had a good laugh on that. He realized that he made a mess of it, and I think the only thing you can do is just smile when you make a flip, so to speak, like that.
Well, he may not be smiling too much longer. Substitution about to be made. Number 7, is it, that will be coming on? And that's Sean Fraser. And
he's going to come in midfield. He plays for Miami FC. A pretty good player. Came up through the junior ranks. Played on the 17. Played on the 20.
And he'll be replacing the skipper.
Yep.
So Fabian Davis, he's done what he's could throughout this match. You've seen him put in a few crosses. You saw him with that free kick, putting it into the side netting. Right places, but just wasn't really able to find the telling pass. Just looking to bring that down and under control. A bit too heavy for him to deal with. And Jamaica now just tackling up there. Chile managed to get it down. As you can see, Fabian Davis there taking up his position on the bench. He'll be a spectator from now on in, and you wonder exactly what he'll be seeing and how he'll be able to contribute to Jamaica's performance. Just weaving in and out of a few Chilean players there. Did well to keep it in as well. Lavelle Palmer and Luton Shelton with the errant pass. Chile now looking to break. It's only 2 against 4 at the moment. Chile just holding things up, not afraid to play the back pass. As you can see, confirmation of that substitution there. Almost 70 minutes in, Ali, and Chile really haven't looked like they're going to concede anytime soon.
Well, not only they don't look like they're going to concede, they don't look as if they want to get another goal. If it comes, it comes. But here's a player that's coming at full space and full speed.
And he's just pulled up his run there. He may receive it again. Yes, there he is. He's picked it up and just knocking it off. That's the number 2, Alvaro Ormeno. Of course, he's full of running. He just came on. That one just looking to scoop it over the defences. And Richard McCallum quick to charge that one down.
See how these teams play as well, Joel, is the fact that what they're going to do is get a signal from the bench. Listen, it's 10 minutes to go. Let's see if we can pick up another goal whilst the Jamaicans are napping.
Yes, you can see a more strategic approach to time management in terms of the times in the match when you know your team is most vulnerable, or if you have that second gear to go into. You know, I'm not too sure if we've seen a full display of the gears that Jamaica have to move into. They just seem to be pushing forward as soon as they get the ball. Not quite the patience in build-up that we've seen from Chile. Almost came off for him there with the return pass.
Yes, it was a good blocking by Harvey.
Ooh, wonderful piece of skill there. Oh, he just almost lost out with a slip. And then a challenge comes in from behind. That's clearly a free kick. Maybe he just took that piece of skill to heart.
Demar Phillips enjoying himself.
Yeah, wonderful piece of close control there. But again, that's in the middle of the park. You know, it's one thing to do it there, but completely something different to do it in a similar position to where they are now. You know. Now then, Chile, space and time on the far side. He has an option available to him in the middle as well, cutting it back inside, plays slightly behind him, and as a result, just dragged by the far post. Chile with too much time there, I think.
Yeah, so they had to think too much on that. Instead of the player making his run for the byline and just squaring it and giving players time to arrive.
Jamaica have yet to arrive at an equalizer. It's been 1-0 since minute 19 in the first half, and just coming close to minute 73 at the moment. Jamaica in possession now, and they have looked comfortable when they've had it.
Well, certainly the back line has a good sense of holding its form. You can't complain about Jerome Taylor and Chris Harvey. They're really gelled. They're really backed up each other well. Donald Stewart, which is the third cog in that kind of a wheel, today was just a little off. And here we look at Sean Fraser, a player who plays for Miami FC. Once again, it's an excellent player and needs some time in the Jamaica team to get the rhythm going, because he can be a good person to go to. He's creative, he can kick the ball, scored I think 3 goals in 3 matches for Miami FC just recently, and one for the future as well.
It'll be interesting to see exactly what the future holds for this Jamaican team. No major competitions competing in this summer. Of course, Chile will be preparing for their stint in the South American tournaments. You can see them just knocking the ball around now. You just wonder, will they really be coming up against similar oppositions in that kind of competition?
Well, you can see that this is a friendly game. The tackles are 3/4 rather than full, and I think this is just an official training session the way it has been going.
The flag was raised on that play, so it won't count no matter what he does. And you can see that just taking a little time to get that ball back.
The Chilean coach will certainly be happy with what is happening. The players are getting, like what I say, an official training session. And from a Jamaican standpoint, similarly, Coach Bora gets a chance to look at a few more players and try to see where the rhythm and the gelling of the team comes out.
Offside on the previous play, but starting to see a little bit of friction here on the near side between the number 8 Carlos Villanueva and I haven't quite caught a glimpse of who it was beside him. I think it's the number 5, Chris Harvey. As a matter of fact, it's Nikolai Finlayson, another recent addition. Just being penalised there, the number 7,
Sean
Fraser.
Well, he comes out hungry. He wants to impress the coach Bora Miltunovic. It's the first look Bora is going to have of him. And of course, he must be hungry to impress.
Several invitations extended by the Bora camp for this match.
Yes, Ricardo Bibi Gardner of Bolton opted out for personal reasons. Kari Stevenson, another good player who would be an excellent choice to play the role that Donald Stewart is playing. He's big, he's strong, he works hard, and he does have a shot. Had he got that opportunity that Donald Stewart got, it would have been in the back of the net. He plays in the Swedish league, and he broke his hand, and he's just now coming back into training, so he opted out for that reason. And of course, coming into the island at the last minute was Donald Stupy's Stewart, Damien Stupy's Stewart, and we don't know if we're going to see him get a chance tonight. And I was just a little surprised that Coach Bora did not bring in another player with Sheffield United, which is Davis, who's also in the island, but we'll find that out a little later as to why he's not in the squad or why he's not playing at the moment.
I'm sure there's method to the madness of Bora Milutinovic. Jamaicans now looking to play things and work it down this flank. Battling away is Sean Fraser. Managed to get in some sort of a cross. Luton Shelton has a lot of work to do if he's going to get on the end of that one, and that's been headed all the way back to the centre circle. Jamaicans just knocking around the Chileans for the time being. The Chileans have compressed into their own half, and it looks as if they'll be making another substitution, the Chileans. Villanueva, the number 8. I think he'll be coming on for Ferrero. Chile are in possession now, just working things around again. It's through the anchor man, Sanhuesa, who's looking to knock it forward. It's been a good display of technique. Some of the passing that we've seen from the Chileans, outside the boot kind of stuff. It's been an interesting evening, technique-wise.
Well, the technique that I was looking for from the Chileans, which didn't happen, was that I was actually hoping to see some shots from in and around the penalty area. They've had the opportunities, but they choose to carry the ball some more. And that I found a little surprising, because some of these players certainly can put boot to the ball.
That's actually an interesting point. We haven't really seen too many long-range efforts from the Chileans.
Well, and again, I'm not even going as far as saying a long-range effort, because that's one aspect of it. But they have had opportunities just on the edge of the penalty box, and they haven't been firing those shots. So that would be disappointing from a coach's standpoint.
But is it that you feel that they may have the confidence that they can get a better opportunity, even though they have an opportunity to strike it from the edge of the box? Maybe they're so confident in their passing game that they feel they can work up a better chance, maybe wanting to walk it in.
Quite possibly. It's a question of the philosophy of what the coach wants. But at the same time, a goal is a goal, and you must find that way.
At the moment, it's Jamaica who are battling to come from behind. 1-0 remains the score, and Chile just controlling the tempo of the game in large parts and running at the Jamaican defence at the moment. Being manhandled there was Jorge Valdivia, nothing given. And the Jamaicans come out with it, playing it through the centre of the park. And now Sean Fraser looking to get involved here on this near touchline. Chile able to lock things down pretty quickly though. And again, it's Jorge Valdivia.
Well, the game had lost some of its colour for about 15-20 minutes. And here's an opportunity, just a little weighted.
I think he miscued that cross.
I think it fooled everybody, yeah?
I think it did. Jamaica get a little bit lucky there. Chile stepping on the ball as they were coming through. Luton Shelton with one of his customary turns. and he's not too pleased about the treatment that he's been getting from the Chilean backline.
And this is what I hate about friendly games, because players coming knew that it's a friendly game. It's in the middle of the field. You don't attack a player. They are all professionals, and they should realize, no, when it's something is on the game, no problem. You suffer the consequence of what you do.
Absolutely. Picking things up now. Quick, snappy passing here from the Jamaicans. Just going to ground on the play, and they've lost out with an option. Fires in a shot towards goal, and Nicholas Perrick with some quick hands is able to parry it wide, and it's been put out for a corner kick. But that was some exciting, speedy play from DeMar Phillips, and got in a decent looking shot as well. Just have another look at this.
It was a good shot by DeMar Phillips, excepting to say that at this level, he should have taken it to the goalkeeper and squared it. That made him look good, made the goalkeeper look good, and it was actually I would say a 40-60 opportunity of him scoring from such an acute angle against such a good player, a good goalkeeper.
Well, a few substitutions are being made in the closing moments of this game. Palmer leaving the park, and Virgo making his way on. Of course, that's Xavier Virgo and Lavelle Palmer, the one to leave the park. But Jamaica just having their extended stay in the Chilean 18-yard box cut short, as just being cleared upfield now. Goal kick. But Nicholas Perrick, good box generalship. He's been in control in the air. He's been in control on the ground as well. So you'd have to say he's in full command.
Yes, he has commanded his area well. I just believe that he has not been tested enough. There haven't been enough crosses. There haven't been challenges, from the forwards, because those crosses have not been coming in. And there haven't been enough shots. The shots that have gone his way have either beaten him and beaten the post, or hit the post, as in the case of Luton Shelton. But looking back at the game, as time ticks away, is that Jamaica deserved to be on level terms.
Absolutely. I don't think you can really complain, and I think the statistics, if you can ever use those things to judge anything by, will show that. Jamaica have contributed in large parts to the success of this game, as this ball is floated into the box, unable to get on the end of it, not willing to throw caution to the wind, just shrugging his shoulders there after that one was sent across.
I think what was wrong with that cross, it was actually well directed, but it didn't have the curve on it. It was too flat, and it didn't give the players, it wasn't flighted enough, as they do in the English game, that gives the players time to arrive. Players are always struggling to get to that cross.
Getting to this cross at the moment is tall number 3, sending this one upfield now. It just came off the wrong part of the foot and out into touch.
Xavier Virgo it was.
On for Lavelle Palmer. The last Jamaican substitution. We've seen quite a few as well. Good interlinking play there between the Chileans. They have a good appreciation of where each other are. Good spatial relationships. They know exactly where they should be playing the ball into, and at the moment they're looking to switch things over to the far side. Good decision as well. There's more space out there. Not quite so accurate with the passing on that occasion. Jamaica able to come away with it and looking to move it forward. The guys just playing it across the back line at the moment and looking to send this one forward.
One of the things, Joel, that has been happening with Jamaican teams over the years, and I find it a little disconcerting, is their inability to give what I call are the searching passes, the passes that can put a defenseman in trouble. I find that they play too many what I call safe passes.
And ball there, referee perfectly positioned to see that. Holding on to the ball there, and bit of gamesmanship from the Chilean, time wasting.
Wants to get people back behind the ball. Of course, in a proper game, you know what would happen. He would pick up a yellow card for doing that.
That kick was taken quickly. Cross comes in, took a deflection, and in the end it was behind those arriving for Jamaica. Now Chile not at all committed to this break. Only one player really looking to join the action up front. Much more willing to slow down the pace and start to build something from their passing game. But having said that, they've picked up the pace down that far touchline, looking to work things along there as well, and he's earned his team a throw-in.
Well, some individual plays are coming in. It's a question of the personal battles now. It's no longer a team battle. It's territorial and it's individual.
And there are only 6 minutes remaining of regulation time, as that one's taken into the box, just bodied off of the ball. Jamaica able to come away with it. Nikolai Finlayson is there to play that interlinking pass. Knocked over to this near touchline as well. Just caught on the arm as well, but I don't know if the referee had the right angle for that one. Good timing to intercept. That's all about timing. That's all about reading the game. And did well to intercede there. But man down for Chile.
Number 6.
Jose Luis Caballon. Seems to be windy.
Well, he is trying to convince the referee that it was done by one of the Jamaican players, which is the number 7. Actually, look at Fraser, Sean Fraser, professing his innocence, and I think Lustani is innocent.
A throw-in is how we will proceed. Xavier Virgo with the balls in his hand.
Berger, a part of that Lunar Cup squad that did pretty well.
They did. Some delays at the moment for this throw-in, but action resumes now. Hopefully not too much of a distraction. With only 4 minutes of regulation time remaining, Jamaica will need to respond quickly if they're going to have something to show from this match. Of course, the sport can be so cruel. Just looking to send that one into the box, charged down there by the number 23. A hint of hand from Arturo Vidal, but that is not the call. It will be a throw-in, taken on the chest of Luton Shelton, just helped back there from Sean Fraser and eventually cleared all the way up to the halfway line. A few flashing bulbs going off around the stadia as the spectators are just trying to get their last images of Jamaica in action. Of course, Chile playing at the national arena for the very first time, so this would be a grand occasion for them to get the win. Looks as if they're willing to break now. It's a foot race, and Jamaica coming out on top. Christopher Harvey able to run that one down. And of course, it's known that Jamaica is a sprint factor, isn't it? Luton Shelton control let him down first time around, but they may get a second opportunity here. It's been cut back into the box. Who's attacking it? Coming in with the shot now, and well done. As a matter of fact, it was brilliant play from Ishmael Fuentes to shut down the shot and save Chile some blushes. And here they are on counter-attack. It's the number 21, Matias Fernandez, finding a teammate over there on the far side. Quick step over. I think he may have lost balance.
Overstepped.
Yes, I think so. And here we are now, just looking to challenge that defender, staying right in front of him. That's good defending, not allowing him an eye on goal, just laying all kinds of space for him there on the far side. Took a deflection, eventually cleared upfield, and whistle on the play. Still have a man down there in the penalty box, so if we just turn our attention further upfield, you'll notice that Nikolai Finlayson remains prone on the ground, and Nicholas Perrick just looking on, the goalkeeper for Chile. I think it came from the collision that we saw in the box a little earlier, and perhaps we can just have another look at that to see exactly what took place. But Nikolai Finlayson, he's been pretty busy.
Well, he arrived on the ball. The play that was going on, Joel, he came through, attacked the ball, found himself. Actually, I believe he was fouled. But at the same time, everything happened so quickly, unless the referee was on spot, he would have missed it. And I think he has hurt himself pretty badly.
It looks that way. being carried off the field now, so Jamaica temporarily down to 10. As you can see, he's being stretchered off now. Seems to be in genuine discomfort, and our thoughts go out to him for a speedy recovery. That may add some minutes on, Ali.
I think so, but as we look towards the player, he looks a little gingerly at the moment.
Seems to be his left leg. So only about 13 seconds remaining of regulation time. After that prolonged stoppage, though, we may see a few more minutes of extra time. But at the moment, it's Jamaica looking to get the bit between their teeth, chasing the ghost, as it were. 1-0 is the score. Chile with the lead. They've had it since minute 19. Juan Gonzalo Lorca doing the damage from an acute angle, and you can just see that he's able to leave under his own strength, so that's always a good sign.
Well, he looks a little better than when he came off the field, so I think tomorrow is when he'll feel all the pain and all the rust.
Looking to knock this one down the line. Chile attacking till the very end. Just ushering that one out into touch. They do well to speed up here. Richard McCallum doesn't have too much time to get this kick out. It looks like the substitution will be made to replace the number 10. And he will come in now. That's the number 9, Mario Harrison. He makes his way onto the park. Stocky player. Chile now just looking to make things happen down this near touchline. But again, it's been good play from Sean Fraser. He's looked solid down this near touchline. Referee seeing something he didn't like, requesting the ball be returned to him. I'm not too sure about the language barrier between the Chileans and the Nicaraguans, but they seem to have gotten the message now. Ball's in the center circle. Should be seeing a free kick. So Jamaica with another opportunity here. They've had several throughout the match, but unable to capitalize. 1-0 is still the score.
Well, they seem to be happy with the 1-0 scoreline, being behind. I'm talking about Jamaica. They're playing as such.
Tried for the spectacular there, unable to get it down and on the chest. Fabian Taylor was looking to strike it on the turn. And you can see that substitution there, Gongala Lorla leaving the park, and Herna being asked to replace him. Chile now with an attack of their own. He's managed to get inside of the defender as well, cuts it back, edge of the 18-yard box, fires in a shot towards goal. Brilliant reflex save. Absolutely amazing reflex save. It was a blistering shot from not too far away, and Richard McCallum with some really great hands.
It was a beauty to watch. And just what we were talking about, Joel, that I have not seen any shots from the Chilean on the edge of the penalty area. They attacked the defense and on the cross game, and he lined it up, and McCallum was actually moving in the opposite direction, but he turned his body and pulled off what is considered a brilliant save.
Practically had to turn in mid-air. That was the save of the game there from Richard McCallum, and obviously denying Chile their second goal. Difficulty keeping up with the pace of that shot. Also on the scene of the crime was Jorge Valdivia. He wasn't able to.
Well, he made a mistake.
Good tackle as well.
What he should have done was fire that on the ricochet one time, but he decided to control, and that was not a good idea. The Jamaican defense closed very quickly on him that time.
Richard McCallum hasn't really had too much to do here in the second half, but when called upon, he's produced a true gem. That was a classic save.
Without
now
doubt.
then, being caught on the counter-attack here. No offside flag being raised, 2 against 1. And Jamaica able to just close him down and kind of scissor the ball away from him. Picking things up in the middle of the park. And that's a new addition to the team, Mario Harrison, getting one of his first touches of the ball. You could see what he was aiming for. Couldn't quite produce the pass. And Rodrigo Melendez comes away with it. Arturo Sanhuesa. He gives it up.
Again, we've seen Chile, as you said earlier, perhaps it's a waiting game with Chile. They seem to have been biding their time until the dying moments, and they've left it right till the death. Chile winning this international friendly with Jamaica 1-0. Juan Gonzalo Lorca, the hero of the match, a brilliant acute strike in minute 19 was what gave the Chileans a lead on their first visit to the Jamaican National Stadium. Jamaica themselves were very impressive in their attacking play, particularly in the first half. We saw a few changes being made in the second half and some more excitement coming from that. But I hope you've enjoyed the action here as we take this break.